The most badass main characters in manhwa. In case you've run out of titles to watch, when it comes to godly characters making the holy deities feel insecure of themselves, having consumed every other title that had those over-the-top, OP as hell characters, then what are you even doing with your life? Have you no shame? Look at how much time you've wasted. What about manhwa? Sleeping out on something that grand would only count as a sin, no matter how much sugarcoating I'm doing right now. Well, if you haven't had a manhwa guide before, then you've come to the right place. Because with manhwa and OP characters connecting us to infinity and beyond, let's have a look at some of the coolest characters manhwa has to offer. These characters would make the likes of Sasuke look nothing but wannabes. And now that I've triggered 90% of the viewers, we're off to a great start, aren't we? Well, why keep you waiting then? Let the faces roll in. 10. Blade Note. We're starting off with style, since with blood ticking over the screen most of the time, fans just wouldn't be able to resist the red that makes the world die deep in the crimson we love to see. Seeing the story develop from something so textbook, so normal, into something worlds apart from what we remember the whole setting to be is just amazing, and something that makes Blade Note stand apart compared to the rest of the titles out there. The art does complete justice to the action that defines the title, and with one's inner demons coming out to play, you've sure stumbled into a great title, because that mask and those sword slashes cutting through your screen over and over again are enough to make you a fan in a heartbeat. Mystery, suspense, and just some of the best drawn action out there. Blade Note's got it all, and what it's been missing is a fan base telling its legend to the rest of the world. 9. Boss in School. Enough with the firearms and the swords making those hands look nothing but the weakest weapons out there. Let's go old school and let those fists and kicks do the talking for every character there is. 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥 would make your love for your mama rejuvenate itself, since promises are meant to be kept and never to be broken, even if the promise forbids one to fight back people who threaten his very existence. But kindness and remorse are feelings humanity has long forgotten, and those who cling to orthodox ideals like those would only meet the fate of those that lived before them. Now, with his father died and a message of stop getting his ass kicked almost all he has left, how will things in his life as a whole change for 𝐜𝐴th as he tries to go back to the beast he used to be back in the day, while the world is ready to offer him challenges that would knock anyone face first on the ground we walk on? 8. Hametsu no Okoku. How fascinating is a human, growing up just to kill the very ones who brought him up to the flesh and blood he is today. With humanity finally having enough of what magic and witches have been giving them all this while, it was only a matter of time before the scientific gear expansion made its debut and cemented itself as something that would render magic something equivalent to a sin. Now with the rivers running red and humanity at war against its own self, Rydia Empire would have hell to pay, since Adonis is here to be that hammer of justice that time has been keeping in check all this while. The person he holds dear, one who means a lot to him, just killed by the hands of the people indebted to her own kin. It's only natural that the boy is consumed by hatred and vows to raze the empire to the ground if it could satisfy the vengeance and the thirst for revenge he's had since that day. 7. Second Life Ranker. A love for a sibling is one of the truest forms of love our Mother Earth has to offer. But when someone who's the closest to you disappears all of a sudden, the news of his death is nothing but a shock that would make one crumble into a million pieces. Yanwu is out for vengeance, and with the Tower of the Sun God being where he'll be finding all the answers he's been looking for, the journey's going to be filled with friends and foes, fights and flights that would show you just how wonderful and breathtaking manhwa can be. That mask won't be the only thing having you hooked onto the series, because with Yanwu going all out while looking as alpha as any character has managed to look even after a ufotable budget, Second Life Ranker is second to none and is surely one of the big dogs of the action manhwa scene. 6. 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥. Okay, first of all, let's take a moment to appreciate how badass the guy looks, striking fear into the hearts of the biggest baddies out there. Plus, to top it all off, pulling off a dope-ass cosplay isn't all that the guy is good at, since with the Chinese all for one here to show us a totally different side to the ability, 𝐒𝐴𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥 is one of the best titles the Chinese scene has to offer. Tang Yin's days as a professional killer is over, since the world we and him know a little too well isn't good enough for a hack of all trades like him. A different world where the guy could go all out without a care in the world was the only solution there was. And with the manhwa giving him exactly that, everyone's super interested all of a sudden, no? The fights are literally out of this world, and the faces introduced later on add that spice that gets toned down a few pages into the scroll. Sure, it's long, but it's definitely worth the time. 5. I Am the Sorcerer King. If you ever wondered how it'd look like if time started attacking people because we didn't value it a lot, then this title right here might give you a demonstration as to how things would end up. But seeing the humans fight back while bringing a violent free-for-all to life was the least of anyone's expectations, no? Lee Sung-hoon is another one of those knuckleheads ready to make a buck because of the whole situation, while using a totally different approach, that being to act as the fodder that would attract these vile monsters from all around the world. But just as they say, it's only when you're at the brink of your death that you remember what makes you you. With the guy one of the best sorcery has to offer, the title sure took its time to give him that power, awakening, making the guy rewind his life in front of his eyes to finally trigger the event. But with magic by his side now, is there a better ally you can ask for? 4. Mercenary Enrollment. Okay girls, brace yourself, since we're pulling out the big guns from now on. There are a lot of you drooling already since the man who's the face of the series is just a little too breathtaking, no? Being the sole survivor of a plane crash makes you question God and fate at the same time, since a life like that is a life worse than death. But 𝐒𝐻𝐸 didn't let fate beat him at the game of survival, since when it comes to who's the toughest one of the lot, then the guy won't back down even a bit, even if it means taking on what the whole world has to offer. Now, having returned to his hometown, the guy's adventures are going to be some of the most amazing ones you've ever witnessed, because with the looks ready to woo any woman away, and with skills making every other criminal lose his footing by the mere mention of his name, Mercenary Enrollment shows you just what sheer determination and training does to you, both physically and mentally. Let's hit the center, boys. 3. The Last Human. With the recent Tokyo Revengers giving these time resets the attention they've been craving since those 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐽𝐸𝐸 days, The Last Human gives the fans what they want the most right now, given how the gangsta show has stopped airing for a while. Being the only one left alive in the middle of a zombie apocalypse would force anyone to jump off the cliff that serves to keep one on the land of sanity. But when you've returned to a day 10 days prior to the nightmare you just witnessed, things don't add up at all, no matter what perspective you're viewing it all from. Having witnessed it all firsthand, it's up to the guy to change things for the better and to make sure the people he holds dear to his heart don't transform into walking pieces of flesh, having an unsatisfiable crave for human brains. 2. The Beginning After the End. It's just crazy how people use the isekai genre in such unique ways that make it seem as if it's reborn almost every other week or so. The life of the royalty would be a life we all wanted to have for ourselves. But all that glitters is not gold. One shouldn't forget that ever in his life. King Gray might seem the most fulfilled human there is, having possession over anything and everything one could think of. But behind that grandeur pompous aura is nothing but a man who just wants to breathe his way to the day when he's standing before the one who created him. The Beginning After the End takes our king to a whole different world, where he can make use of what he has to offer. Plus, with the world coming with its share of unexpected encounters and beings no one could have anticipated even from a mile away, seeing the king's journey to the very end wouldn't be something any of us would be missing out on. 1. Solo Leveling. It won't be wrong if I said that this is the face of manhwa in this day and age. I mean, almost everyone's caught up with the series, and with the title getting better and better by every other edition, I'm kinda scary for the fans since there's a limit to the excitement and the hype that the fans can take before our heart doing that shutdown on us. 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐴's story is one that would bring tears in anyone's eyes, but the guy never lost hope, and in a world where humans aren't the only ones endangering each other's lives, being a hunter is the only bread and butter there is. However, with the guy out of luck, there has to be a gamble, or else he won't be able to save who he loves the most in the entire universe, his mom. Well, a twist of fate is all armed and ready to change things for the better, and from that level onwards, it's just the manhwa taking our breath away with training and fights that would have you coming back for more. And those were the top 10 most badass main characters in manhwa. Tell us in the comments below which one's your favorite, and in case we missed someone you think deserved a spot on the list. Also, check out my finance channel as well. I'll leave a link in the description. Goodbye, and take care.